When it comes to 5G and weather satellites, they're both using radio frequencies. And I think most people understand radio frequencies in terms of their Wi Fi, how their cell phone works, even AM, FM radio. What's happening lately is that radio frequencies are a finite resource. You can only divvy it up, those individual wavelengths, those pieces of energy, so much before you run out of room. And there's a lot of interest in 5G and those faster communications to our cell phones, to our digital devices. The challenge is that the weather community is actively using some of those same radio frequencies in order to sense the weather. And some people may be a little less familiar with that, but essentially, as the weather patterns move, clouds, land surfaces radiate energy back up to space, and that's what we're trying to capture with weather satellites. Yeah, so there's been a lot of recent activity about sensing water vapor, and there's a specific frequency in what's called the microwave region, where we have government-owned weather satellites that are trying to sense water vapor. And what has happened is there's been proposals to use some of those frequencies that are very close to where we're trying to measure for 5G services. What is the real risk here is that those louder 5G networks are going to overpower the relatively weak signal of those water vapor molecules. And if the 5G signals overpower the water vapor molecules, all we're going to see back at the satellite are those wireless signals, are the fake non-weather related signals. And what's the risk in that? Well, without knowing where the water vapor is, that's a huge part of our weather forecast. We need to know what clouds are going to be producing rain. We need to know what storms are going to be the most severe, and water vapor is a critical part of that. So I look at this as you have perhaps a nursery, a retirement center, even a quiet residential neighborhood, and somebody wants to come in and put a nightclub or a large industrial operation right next to it, right next door to where you're living. And we all know that when you put things that are incompatible right next to each other, that doesn't really work well. There needs to be a certain amount of space. And just like there needs to be physical space between retirement centers and nightclubs, there needs to be space in the radio frequencies between where we're sensing the weather and where we're using it for 5G.